Join us as we delve into the eerie depths of Kruger National Park, where reality blurs with the nightmare in 5 true tales of terror. From sudden disappearances to harrowing brushes with wild beasts, these stories will grip you with fear. Prepare to be captivated as we uncover the disturbing truths behind some of the most haunting incidents in Kruger National Park's history. On June 5, 2019, tragedy struck at 8 p.m. in Kruger National Park, known for its wild beauty. 2-year-old Courtney Netaman, a little boy filled with laughter and curiosity, found himself in the clutches of a nightmare that would haunt his family and the park for years to come. Courtney's father, Isaiah Netaman, was a hard-working man, spending his days as a water operator within the park's sprawling expanse. His wife, Sabeel, often brought their son to visit him, turning his simple cottage into a haven of love and laughter amidst the rugged terrain. On the day of the tragedy, Isaiah returned home from work, eager to spend time with his family. Ever the adventurous spirit, Courtney followed his father's footsteps, his tiny hand clutching a toy truck as he explored the world around him. As evening descended, Isaiah settled into the routine of family life, unaware of the danger lurking just beyond the safety of his doorstep. Courtney, drawn by the allure of the wilderness, went outside in the night, his innocent curiosity leading him into a world of danger. Suddenly, the evening shattered with the sound of a mother's screams, echoing through the darkness like a cry for help. Isaiah rushed outside, his heart pounding with dread, only to find his worst fears realized. In the grasp of a leopard was his beloved son, his cries for help drowned out by the predator's roar. The leopard bit Courtney's neck and body repeatedly, his cries and screams getting louder as he could feel the pain course through his tiny body. Isaiah acted in sheer terror, his every instinct screaming to protect his child at all costs. With a courage born of desperation, he confronted the leopard, his hands shaking as he fought to free his son from the jaws of death. As the struggle raged on, Sabeel joined the fray, her screams blending with Isaiah's as they fought tooth and nail to save their precious son. Isaiah managed to drive the leopard away with a final desperate effort, but the damage had already been done. In the aftermath of the attack, Courtney lay battered and broken, his tiny body bearing the scars of a battle fought and lost. With tears streaming down their faces, Isaiah and Sabeel rushed their son to the hospital, praying for a miracle that would never come. Despite the best efforts of the doctors, Courtney succumbed to his injuries, his tiny heart beating its last as his parents looked on in agony. In the wake of his death, Kruger National Park was plunged into mourning, its vast expanse of wilderness overshadowed by the specter of loss and grief. After the brutal attack on Courtney, the rangers and park staff searched for the leopard, where the animal was considered a danger to humans and had to be killed immediately. The park rangers successfully located the leopard and shot it, ending the threat of it harming other people inside the park's premises. As the days turned into weeks, questions lingered like ghosts, haunting the minds of all who sought answers in the wake of Courtney's tragic demise. How had a leopard managed to breach the park's defenses? What measures could be taken to prevent such a tragedy from occurring again? Some speculated that human encroachment into the leopard's natural habitat had emboldened the animal. In contrast, others pointed to the inherent risks of living and working near wild predators. Beyond the tragedy of Courtney's death lies a story of a vibrant young life cut short by the merciless whims of nature. Courtney was not just a victim. He was a beloved son, a cherished family member, and a bright spark in all who knew him. His laughter and smile, once a source of boundless joy, now serve as bittersweet memories cherished by those who loved him most. Back in 2014, it was a beautiful evening at the Skukuza Golf Course, situated within the expanse of Kruger National Park. Jacques van der Sant, a 29-year-old with a deep-seated love for the outdoors, had returned to the park where he spent his early years, visiting his parents who worked there. As Jacques and a friend took to the golf course, their laughter echoed across the verdant expanse. Jacques was no stranger to adventure. Growing up within the beauty of Kruger National Park, he developed a profound appreciation for nature's wonders. His parents, Schalk and Laretha van der Sant, had dedicated their lives to preserving the park, instilling in Jacques a reverence for the wilderness surrounding him. Jacques and his friend kept playing golf until it was time to retrieve some golf balls in Lake Panic to continue their game. Although there were warnings, Jacques and his friend became curious about how many golf balls they could retrieve in the lake. Ignoring the warnings against swimming in the park's dams and rivers, he waded into the shallows, his friend following suit. Perhaps the nostalgia of his youth or the moment's thrill compelled him to venture into the water, heedless of the lurking dangers beneath the surface. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Jacques, a predator lurked in the depths of Lake Panic. Crocodiles, emerging from their winter hibernation, hungered for their first meal in months. With instinctual precision, one of these ancient reptiles, measuring nearly 4 meters in length, silently stalked its unsuspecting prey, its predatory gaze fixed upon Jacques as he reached into the water to retrieve golf balls. In an instant, the peacefulness of the evening shattered as the crocodile surged forward, its mighty jaws closing around Jacques' chest with bone-crushing force. The force of the attack was swift and merciless, dragging Jacques beneath the surface in a flurry of thrashing water. Paralyzed with shock, his friend could only watch in horror as Jacques disappeared beneath the murky depths. The night air was rent with the frantic cries of Jacques' companion, the sound echoing through the stillness of the park. Aligned with the unfolding tragedy, rangers sprang into action, their searchlights piercing the darkness as they combed the waters for any sign of Jacques. They scoured the depths for hours, their hearts heavy with dread as the minutes ticked. Finally, a glimmer of hope emerged, the silhouette of the crocodile, its victim trapped in its lethal embrace. With determination, the rangers aimed, their rifles echoing as they sought to free Jacques from the jaws of death. As the creature's lifeless body surfaced, the full extent of the tragedy became apparent. Once full of life and vitality, Jacques van der Sant had become another victim of nature's unforgiving wrath. His body was found without any signs of mutilation, except for the teeth marks that were present on his front and back. His untimely death shocked the tight-knit community of Kruger National Park, leaving behind sorrow and grief within his family and friends. In the aftermath of the terrifying incident, speculation ran rampant as to what had led to Jacques' demise. Some pointed to the reckless disregard for park regulations, citing the ban on swimming in the dams and rivers as a clear indication of the dangers hidden beneath the surface. Others questioned the efficacy of park management, raising concerns about predatory animals near recreational areas. What if Jacques had heeded the warnings against swimming in the park's dams and rivers, choosing to enjoy the golf course from a safe distance instead? In the heart of South Africa's renowned Kruger National Park, Roland Kohler, a Swiss tourist, went on a journey filled with anticipation and wonder. It was a crisp morning in November 2019 when Kohler, a devoted anthroposophic physician, and his wife set out on a safari adventure through the sprawling wilderness of the park. Roland Kohler, a man of intellect and curiosity, had dedicated his life to pursuing knowledge and healing. As an anthroposophic physician, he embraced a holistic approach to medicine, viewing each patient as a complex interplay of mind, body, and spirit. His compassionate nature endeared him to all who crossed his path, and his thirst for adventure drew him to the beauty of Kruger National Park. With the sun just beginning to rise above the horizon, the couple navigated the winding roads between the Mopani and Shingwedzi camps, their hearts brimming with excitement at the prospect of encountering the park's majestic wildlife. Little did they know, their adventure would soon take a tragic turn. As they rounded a bend in the road, a convoy of minibus taxis thundered past, their drivers seemingly oblivious to the posted speed limit of just 30 mph. Witnesses later recalled the taxis hurtling down the roadway with reckless abandon, leaving a trail of dust and uncertainty in their wake. Amid this chaotic scene, fate intervened most unexpectedly. A giraffe calf, innocent and unsuspecting, wandered onto the roadway, unaware of the impending danger. With a loud screech of tires, tragedy struck as one of the speeding taxis collided with the gentle creature, sending it tumbling onto the path of Kohler's safari vehicle. The impact was catastrophic. The massive 18-foot, 650-pound giraffe crashed down upon the roof of Kohler's camper with bone-crushing force, shattering the serenity of the morning and changing the course of their lives forever. The vehicle was severely damaged, and Kohler suffered from critical injuries while his wife was only mildly injured. A total of 4 people, including Kohler and his wife, were injured in the incident. Amidst the chaos, emergency services raced to the scene, their sirens wailing in a desperate chorus of urgency. Paramedics worked tirelessly to stabilize Kohler, his injuries grave and his future uncertain. With a head injury and a mandibular fracture, his life hung in the balance as he was airlifted to Nelsprout Mediclinic for urgent medical care. However, despite the efforts of medical professionals, Roland Kohler's battle for survival would soon come to a tragic end. Several days later, on November 13, 2019, Kohler succumbed to his injuries at Netcare Millpark Hospital in Johannesburg. His passing shocked the tight-knit community of travelers and adventurers who had crossed paths with him in the expanse of Kruger National Park. In the aftermath of this devastating incident, authorities launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding Kohler's death. Initially, a case of reckless driving was opened against the minibus driver. His actions were deemed a catalyst for the chain of events that led to the tragedy. However, with Kohler's death, the charge was elevated to culpable homicide. Sandparks, custodians of Kruger National Park, issued a reminder to visitors, urging them to exercise caution and respect the wildlife that called the park home. With speeding fines enforced and surveillance cameras poised to monitor the roads, the message was clear. There are no second chances in the realm of nature. Within the reflections and reminders, questions lingered in the minds of those who bore witness to the tragedy. What if the taxis had adhered to the speed limits? What if the giraffe wasn't there in the first place? A compelling tale of greed, sorrow, and retribution unraveled in the sprawling, majestic landscape of Kruger National Park, where the vast African savanna rolls out like an unending tapestry under the expansive sky. Amidst the diverse tapestry of wildlife and the untouched natural beauty, human desires clashed with the brutal realities of nature, setting the stage for a poignant drama that echoed the timeless struggles of life and survival. It began with a man whose name has since faded into obscurity. He was a suspected rhino poacher, driven by the promise of profit and the temptation of easy riches. His life before Kruger National Park was shadowy, shrouded in mystery and speculation. Some whispered of a troubled past, others of a desperate present, but the truth remained elusive. With him were 4 accomplices, their faces obscured by the darkness of the night as they ventured into the heart of the wilderness. Their aim? To hunt the majestic rhinoceros, a creature whose very existence was threatened by the insatiable demand for its horn. Despite poaching being illegal, as rhinos are now critically endangered, people still wanted to hunt them for its high price, ranging from $27,000 a pound to $7,000 an ounce. It's $400 more expensive than gold. No wonder these poachers wanted to get deficient rhino horns. Armed with weapons and fueled by greed, they stalked their prey with a ruthless determination, heedless of the consequences that awaited them. But nature, with its sense of justice, had other plans. As they moved deeper into the park, their footsteps echoing in the night, fate intervened in the form of an elephant, a towering animal whose rage knew no bounds. With a suddenness that caught them off guard, the massive creature charged, its tusks gleaming in the moonlight as it unleashed its anger upon the interlopers who dared to trespass upon its territory. In the chaos that ensued, the suspected poacher met his demise, his life snuffed out in an instant by the brute force of nature's wrath. His companions, gripped by fear and panic, fled into the darkness, leaving behind the lifeless body of their fallen comrade. But nature's revenge was not yet complete. In the days that followed, a search party searched the wilderness for the missing man, their efforts hampered by the park's vastness and their quarry's elusive nature. Eventually, their perseverance was rewarded as they stumbled upon a gruesome scene that bore witness to nature's brutal efficiency. Amidst the undergrowth, they discovered the remains of the suspected poacher, picked clean by a pride of lions whose hunger knew no bounds. All that remained were a human skull and a pair of pants. As news of the tragedy spread, the park's managing executive, Glenn Phillips, offered his condolences to the family of the deceased, lamenting the senseless loss of life that had occurred. But even as he spoke, the wheels of justice were already in motion, as 3 of the suspected poacher's accomplices were apprehended and brought to justice. For them, as for their fallen comrade, the price of their crimes would be paid in full. But amidst the tragedy, lots of questions lingered, including, what drove these men to risk their lives in pursuit of rhino horn? And perhaps most chilling of all, what other horrors lay hidden in the depths of Kruger National Park, waiting to be revealed? What if their greed had not closed their eyes to the dangers that lurked in the shadows? What if they had heeded the warnings and respected the sanctity of the park? And what if, in the end, nature's retribution was a warning to us all? In the heart of Kruger National Park, amidst its sweeping vistas and wild, untamed beauty, two women embarked on a journey destined to end in tragedy. Surrounded by the raw power of nature and the unpredictable wilderness, their adventure, which began with excitement and the thrill of exploration, took a sudden, heart-wrenching turn, marking a sobering reminder of the park's formidable and often merciless reality. The first woman, a seasoned employee of Sandparks, had dedicated her life to the protection and preservation of Kruger National Park. Born and raised in a small village on the outskirts of the park, her love for the wild was instilled in her from a young age. As a child, she would spend hours exploring the bushveld, her curiosity piqued by the myriad wonders hidden amidst the thorny underbrush. This deep connection to the land drew her to a career in conservation, where she could work tirelessly to ensure that future generations would inherit a world teeming with life. The second woman, a newcomer to Sandparks and an employee, had dreamed of escaping the concrete jungle in favor of the wide-open spaces of the African bush. This longing for adventure led her to Kruger National Park, where she hoped to immerse herself in the beauty of nature and make a difference in the world. As fate would have it, the paths of these two women would converge on a fateful day in the Muiplas section of the park near Mopani Camp. Tasked with a routine mission to harvest Mopani worms, they set out into the wilderness with purpose and determination. Little did they know that their journey would take an unexpected turn, plunging them into a nightmare they would never awaken. It began with a rustle in the underbrush, a faint sound that sent shivers down their spines. Sensing danger, the women paused, their senses on high alert as they scanned the horizon for signs of trouble. And then, like a bolt from the blue, the elephants appeared, their massive forms looming prominently against the backdrop of the savanna. In an instant, chaos erupted as the elephants, agitated by the presence of intruders, charged forth with a primal fury. The women, caught off guard by the sudden onslaught, scrambled for safety, their hearts pounding in their chests like the beat of distant thunder. But for one of them, escape was not to be. With a swift and brutal motion, the elephant's tusk pierced her flesh, carving a path of destruction from her lower back to her chest. The air filled with the sounds of her agony as she fell to the ground, her lifeblood staining the earth beneath her. Beside her, the other woman fought for her life, her body battered and broken by the relentless assault of nature's fury. Guided by armed rangers through the dense, untamed bush of Kruger National Park, a team of paramedics raced against time, navigating the rugged terrain desperately to reach the accident scene. Despite their relentless efforts and the urgency of their mission, they arrived too late for one of the women. She lay motionless on the ground, her life tragically cut short in an instant by powerful forces beyond anyone's control. The somber atmosphere was a stark reminder of nature's unforgiving strength and the fragile line between life and death in the wilderness. How might the outcome have changed if the women had chosen a different route through the park? Could earlier or more effective emergency responses have prevented the tragic end? Were there any overlooked warning signs that could have alerted them to the impending danger? How did their preparations, or lack thereof, impact their fate in the unpredictable wilderness of Kruger National Park? Reflecting on these questions might not only shed light on the circumstances that led to this heartbreak, but also serve as crucial lessons for future adventurers. Understanding these aspects can help emphasize the importance of preparedness, awareness, and swift action in the face of nature's unforeseeable challenges.